2012 Volkswagen Beetle with the 2-liter turbo TSI engine. And today we're going to be replacing the vacuum pump gasket. It's a little metal gasket. It's about right there where the vacuum pump is. Here is the part number, right here, for your reference. Let's get to it. Go ahead and start by removing our engine cover. It's held in by these little suction cup thingies. Pull that out of the way. And here we have our vacuum pump assembly. And here is our high pressure fuel pump located right here. We have our hard line going right down here underneath, connecting to it, and then the hard line goes and feeds the injectors. So this is the part that we're going to need to have access to. So let's go ahead and remove the intake pipe, possibly the battery, but I'm going to see if I have enough room without having to remove that. So hopefully I can just get there with the intake pipe removed. Pop our connector off and get myself a long stick to prop this hood open with, because it is, the hood prop is right in the workway. I feel like battling that. There we go. So pair of needle nose pliers. You're going to reach down here, push these two clips together, and remove the intake hose. And this, I feel like I should just be able to lift this out. Remove this top cover. Gotta be careful of this line right here. This is a coolant line, so be careful of that. This line right here. Remove that intake box. Now I'll come in here and just start disconnecting some of these connectors. Being very careful, of course. There we go. Alright, so this one right here, you want to push this in and then press down on the release switch right here, and then pull it out. Just tuck that out of the way. Looks like somebody put a zip tie down here to hold this wire. Pull that zip tie off. There we go. Got a lot more wiggle. Next we can remove this 10mm ground. And when we remove this wire, we're going to go ahead and put this nut right back on top so we don't lose it. Push this wire out of the way the best we can. And see where we're at right now. So there's 3 bolts holding this thing in, right here, here, and then there's one right here in the back. And the bolts that we're going to be removing are T30s. get myself a 4-inch extension. We're going to remove this bolt right here that's holding in the brace for this coolant hardline. And now underneath, we're going to go ahead and remove this fluid line where the high pressure fuel pump takes the gasoline to the fuel injectors. So we're going to get a adjustable wrench and put that on there. You will have a little bit of gasoline come out, but that's okay. It looks like there is another 30mm bolt that's holding a bracket, but I don't know if that's holding this. I'm just going to try removing it and see what happens. Yeah, that's not a part of this. I already removed the bolt, so I'll go ahead and just pull this out so it's out of the way. But you won't need to do this part. Might be helpful. Who knows? Looks like we're missing one thing underneath. And there it comes, right there. Beautiful. We now have enough access to get to our gasket. There you have it. This thing is leaking oil everywhere. We're going to come in here for a little bit of brake clean. We're going to clean up the cylinder head side and the vacuum pump side the best that we can given our limited workspace. It's all up. Looks like there's some gunk right here. Just trying to get all this nasty stuff out of here. Looks good. Okay. And here is our brand new gasket. It is a metal gasket, and as you can see, there are two, it's kind of like these little blue RTVs. So there's only one way to put this in, but obviously, in case you're wondering, these go towards the valve cover. So you're going to install them just like that, and then these will actually help seal up where that valve cover crevice is, where the valve cover meets the actual head cylinder. So as you're looking down into your vacuum pump assembly, you have these prongs right here. These need to line up with the indentations on your camshaft. And right here, this is your cam follower right here. And what this does is that whenever this cam rotates around, it's in a triangle shape. So it's actually gonna push this in, which actually builds your pressure for your high pressure fuel pump. So you need to make sure that when you install these, it's at an angle kind of like that. So that way it's on a flat end and it's not gonna give you any issues. Actually, it looks like Okay, so first off, the cam is actually in a square shape. I thought they were triangles, but apparently this one's a square. This cam follower right here for the high pressure fuel pump needs to come out. So we're gonna go ahead and remove these 2 bolts for the high pressure fuel pump and see if we can't remove this as a unit, install the vacuum pump assembly by itself, and then reinstall the high pressure fuel pump into it. So, go ahead and remove these 2 bolts. They are T30s as well. And get my 3/8 impact on this because I need that hammering power to break these loose. And the lower bolt, I'm going to see if I can't just kind of push this whole thing back instead of removing the bolts. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but I'm going to try it. So if it does, cool. If it doesn't, well, just a few twists of the wrist away. Okay, so there we go. We've pulled the assembly away from, we've pulled the high pressure fuel pump assembly away from the vacuum assembly. And if we look down here, we can see that this is now smooth inside. So installation can go much smoother now. Go ahead and line up our gasket, knowing it's not going to stay the right way, but that's okay. We're just going to slide this over top. Line up those prongs, hopefully. There we go. And then we just move our gasket into the proper position. Slide our first bolt through. And then we go down here to our second bolt. Taking a quick peek through the gap right down here, ensuring that it's still lined up with our gasket, and tightening that down the first couple of turns. And then we can start our third bolt in the rear. Again, taking a quick peek over top to make sure that our gasket is still lined up properly. And with all 3 of them down, I can go ahead and start putting them down tight. The one in the back, I'm just going to go ahead and get myself a small little ratchet and do this one by hand because it's just too tight back there for my electric ratchet. And go over all the rest of them real quick. Good. Good. Feels good. All right. And now we can go ahead and put our high pressure fuel pump back down. First start by lining up both of them. So I'm gonna need an extension for this. Little 3-inch extension. And once this one is down tight and you've closed the gap up top, come back down here and put it down tight on the bottom. put it down tight on the top. And there's the gasket assembly. And with that, we've just reinstalled that gasket, put everything back together in reverse order, start it up, and check underneath here for leaks, because that's what we had. We had a big oil leak coming right here, dumping all over top of the transmission. And but with that, pretty much did it. I knew you could, and doubt it for a second. If you like this video and it helped you out, check out that video next. I made that one just for you. But other than that, if this video helped you out, leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see y'all next time.